Hi all, this is Skate, and this is the Jagdpanzer E100, or Jaegeru for short. It's a colossal tank. Look at the size on that thing. Now everybody's come across one of these things in a tier 10 battle, and when you see that 170mm gun pointing at you, you back it up, and you back it up quickly. And if you haven't, you learn very quickly to back it up. And it's very, very well armoured as well. And it's German, so you can angle it very, very well against certain tanks. We'll go into that a little bit later. But the angle I'm at here is exactly the angle I try to turn my tank between my shots. It vastly increases the effective thickness of your armour. And providing you hide in that massive weak spot of a lower plate, the only other place they can shoot you is the upper casement next to the gun mantlet. That has 250mm of armour. When you're facing directly, the effective thickness is around 280, but when you're angling to the side at that angle, you're coming up around 300, and the side being an auto ricochet. Now, if you are showing your lower plate, 90% of people will just aim for the lower plate. If you're not showing the lower plate, angling like that really does help between shots. You can't shoot back at that angle due to the gun arc, but you can certainly try and improve the chances of bouncing them. The class I fear the most when I'm in this tank is not medium tanks, which is what you'd expect. It's other tank destroyers. And the reason for that being is they're the ones that can reliably go through the upper casement. When you're angling, you're pushing around 300mm of effective armour. When you're at this angle, as you can see there, that's approximately what it will be. Most tank destroyers can still penetrate you, regardless of that angling. If you wiggle, you can get lucky. They might hit the actual mantlet, or they might hit the side. But they hurt a lot, because they can reliably punch straight through you. Now yes, a medium tank can get on your butt, circle you, no problem at all. You've got a very abysmal 20 degrees of track traverse, which means they can circle you all day long. But if a medium tank does get behind me, I tend to just ignore them, and they will whittle me down slowly and kill me. But at least if I can get a couple more shots off, or even just one more shot off into something in front of me, I can help the team and hopefully improve the chances of winning, even if I do die. So what we'll do is have a quick look at what equipment I like to run it with, even though it's very little because I don't have spare parts. Yes, I make this frustrating comment in every video recently because I don't have spare parts. All the replays I have featured only have 3 bits of equipment fitted. I have managed to fit some more since earning some spare parts, but we'll run through that now. But first onto a consumables front. Again, a pretty standard setup for me. I will run the adrenaline, I will run the multi-purpose restoration kit and the repair kit. And then on provisions, I will run double chocolates for double crew skills, and then improved fuel to try and increase the mobility of this thing. Straight onto the ammunition, I run 12 AP, 6 heat, and 6 HE. Although we carry 6 heat, it's worth having just in case, but you very, very rarely need to use it with a very tasty 299mm of penetration on your AP. But on an equipment front, we'd go with the gun rammer, protected modules, and then I run improved optics. I don't run the net because I don't keep still long enough. Enhanced gun lane drive is a must. Enhanced armor or health is up to you, but I like to try and increase the upper casement thickness. And then I would run improved control for track traverse. I would then run the vertical stabilizer. Track repair would be a must. And then if you're going all the way, I would personally go with consumable delivery system every single time. Now, I haven't actually played this tank in a long time. And the reason I haven't played this tank in a long time is because I sucked in it. So because I couldn't get to grips with the tank, and that was about 18 months ago now, I stopped playing it because there was just that stigma to it, for me anyway, because I had a very, very bad run in it. But there was a lot of comments. Obviously I read as many comments as I can, and there was a lot of comments saying, will you do a video on this tank? So I thought, screw it, I'll get it back, I'll have a go and see if I can get on with her now that I'm a bit more experienced in the game. And I bought it back, and I sucked in it. I pushed way too aggressively, it meant that I had a couple of games where I did very, very low damage, and I had a 0 damage game. So I thought I would actually hang back a little bit longer at the start of the match and be the cover fire for the first minute or so, then push up and be a bit more aggressive. And that seems to work a lot better. It's a lot harder to hit the upper casement and not the mantlet from long range, and it's a lot harder to hit the lower plate when you're at very, very long range. So it meant I could still be support fire for my team, getting some good shots down the line like we are here, and then I'm also trying to preserve my health at the same time and using my armor to its best abilities. But because of that reload time, which is 15 seconds, which when you think about it doing 800 damage a shot, that's not bad at all. But because of the reload, if you're not in a position to be helping the team as best you can, and making every shot count, there's no point staying at the back. It's like where I am now. Every shot has connected, every shot has mattered. If I was hiding very, very far back, nothing to shoot at, don't stay there. Move. Relocate. Be of use to your team. This might be glaringly obvious to some, but just to be on the safe side, you'll notice I changed the AP to finish off a very, very low health T-62A. That's because there was a fence in front of him, and if I fired the HE, it would have, or potentially would have, connected with the fence and not with him. And on the note of HE, the HE on this thing... I love blind shots. The HE on this thing is fantastically good fun. It's got 85mm of penetration, but an average damage roll of 1,200. That's nearly at a level of doing the same damage as a Death Star. And if there's something like a Grill, a Waffle, a Leo, the back of an American tank in front of you, you will make a mess of them very, very quickly. In regards to gameplay though, you'll see I had nothing to shoot at, and rather than just sit there, it means it's time to push. That's a bare essential, I think. If you're sitting there for too long, your team can get pushed and you're of no use. And then you've got several tanks on you at once, and when you're only firing every 15 seconds, you will struggle to take out and deal with them. And we have a very, very low HP butt shot, and someone else takes it. Even low shots like that, though, they're worth taking because it takes a gun out, and it helps the team no end. And with the HE being so good, you don't even need to worry about it penetrating. The splash damage is alone enough to kill tanks with a couple of hundred health left. Obviously, if they're well armoured, there's less chance of doing as much damage to them. Now, it's a 2-on-2 now. We are 2 slow tanks versus a Tortoise and a Grill. And I have no idea if that shot connected. I honestly can't remember, so we will have to wait and see when he reappears how much health he has left. Now the Tortoise is making a push on me and I'm very, very low health. It's not a good idea because again, I don't need to try and penetrate him. So angling his armor like he is makes no difference because I just need to splash him to death. Now this is where it's a bit of an issue. The Grill is very, very fast. Myself and the E100 are not. So the E100 is about to very, very nicely offer me the kill because I'm on 5 kills. But I don't want it. And the reason I don't want it is because if you look at the time, we don't have time to be hanging fire. We need to go and push and find him. We literally don't have the time because he's very fast, he's very sneaky. We can't. So I appreciate the offer. On the off chance that E100 is watching, thanks very much, but my logic was it doesn't matter, let's just go find him. And more than anything, I was itching to see, if we do find him, how much health he has left, if that shot hit him or not, because there was only a fraction of him showing from behind that silo and through the bush, so we're just going to have to see. But as the time's cracking on, there's no point trying to chase him anymore, which is why I decide I'm going to the cap. And then if he wants to come and find us, he can. If he doesn't, well, we'll win by capping. Either way, there's 2 of us, we should cap pretty quickly. And we're never going to catch him trying to chase him around a map, are we? So being as we know he's not down that side of the map, you'll see I'm facing this way in preparation just in case, because logic would be, if he's not over there, or I haven't been spotted at least, we know he is more than likely going to be up this end of the map, especially as the E100's been down there. Now, although we may not have spotted the grill, well, there we go, we know where he is. We may not have spotted him, but he would have spotted us when he was sniping. Now, that was a good shot by the grill, I've got to give it to him, because I'm not spotted. But that being said, I'm not going to stay in the same position once he has shot there and spotted me. And based on where he was shooting, I'm obviously going to stay pointing in that direction, ready. And we did hit him with our first shot, which means one quick HE, and we can finish him off. Now, I actually enjoyed that game. It wasn't... I think the grill made it a fun, challenging game. But it means it left us with 6,000 damage, we made 38,000 credits, which is not bad for a tier 10, and we've got a nice selection of medals, along with the 6 kills. Only 1,460 spare parts. It was recorded just prior to 4.0 coming out, so if this was in 4.0, we would have got an extra 1,000 on top of that. Personally, I would like to see spare parts linked to damage. That may even be a fun idea. Or in fact, anything to try and boost the amount you get. Literally anything. If those boxes, those boxes in the garage, by the way, I really like them when they came out in 4.0. Don't give a lot, but they do give something. And it's something for nothing. But if those boxes were full of spare parts, I'd be over the moon. It's just an opportunity to get more spare parts. And that's where I think this game is still suffering the most, is spare parts. And it does, it needs fixing still. Even with 4.0 providing spare parts for masteries, I still personally don't think it's enough. But that is irrelevant from this video. I will make a spare parts episode 3 video. Now, I don't like making episodes about spare parts, but the fact it's talked about so much and we have to talk about it even though it's not a fun topic, means that we've literally got a series on spare parts. But that's for another video. On to the gameplay. You'll notice I've pushed quite aggressively round here, and the reason I've pushed aggressively is because my team have, and they haven't spotted anything. So it allows me to push up. If I stayed in the tank destroyer spawn or tank destroyer spot, which people stay in, I would have been no good to the team, or I would have been flanked quite quickly. Coming around here means I could actually get around the back of that tortoise as he's trying to push up and help his team. And a quick look at the minimap will show that the reds are pushing onto a couple of greens on my right hand side, so we do really need to push up and help. In the last game we had the opportunity to be support fire. In this game we're actually the flanker. Now you'll notice I'm opening my ammo ready because there's a grill and an E100 and a tortoise around here. So if I can get a shot on the grill, I'm going to quickly change to the HE, put it into his lower plate for a nice 1,000+ shot. Now this is important. I've repaired my track straight away and I'm pushing towards the tortoise, and the reason I did that is because it hides my biggest weak spot, which is the lower plate. If I stayed further back, he would have been able to put one through my lower plate, absolutely no problem at all. If I can get away with it, I won't use the repair kit as often as possible. I try to keep it for when I need it the most. Having the ability to hide my lower plate in that circumstance was a scenario when I did really need it. Now there is an E100 now pushing the other way, and I do completely fluff that shot up. And I could have done with landing that shot because we are in a 3-on-3 situation and all of them are around me. You'll notice I'm not pointing my gun at him either. I'm trying to angle my tank as best as possible so he can't put one straight through the front. Now, I'm trying to aim for the front. Instead, I shoot directly on the corner of his turret, which means it is going to bounce without fail. But you'll notice again, I'm not pointing the gun at him. I'm trying to angle the tank as best I can. I tried to point the corners at his gun. And then what I'm going to try and do now is aim for the turret ring, because it's the weakest point on his turret. Especially when he is angling it. You'll notice that that little bit of the turret ring is flat when he angles his turret. So I'm angling to his shot. As he's angling, he's giving me that flat corner to his turret, which I'm shooting for. And it's penetrated both times, no problem at all. And again, we're doing the same thing. He's going to try and push past me. I'm going to try and block him up against the rocks, keep my tank angled, and then turn back and go for that little bit on his turret again. Which means we do manage to finish him off with the third penetrating shot. I tend to find with this tank, when you're face hugging like that, you are very, very strong because they can't shoot your lower plate. When you're long range, it's a hard target if you're using the terrain to hit your lower plate. When you're medium range, well, there's not really a lot you can do to hide your lower plate. Which is a strange combination, playing the close range game and the long range game, but not the medium range. But that is exactly the way I try to think about it every single time I play this tank. Avoid giving them my lower plate. If it's a tank destroyer, I will angle like holy hell. And obviously hope for the best. But the E100 has shot, he is very low health. Don't need to worry about penetrating him now, I can just splash him with the HE. But that is obviously the end of that game, and we have got 3 kills, and that T-54 on our team has 2. Quick look at the battle? What the hell's a battle? Battle results screen gives us 6,800 damage and 42,000 credits. And the grand total of 271 spare parts. Great. No. Nonetheless, regardless of that, it was a fun game, it's a good game. And the E100 on the enemy team, gotta obviously give him a shout out, he played a very good game with over 4,000 damage as well. Now, on to the last game of this video. I have got more replays, I think there's about another 4 mastery replays I've got recorded for this from last week. If you do want to see them in a different video, let me know. I tried to find the balance with trying to show as much gameplay on which benefits the tank the most and trying to keep the guides to a realistic time frame. Obviously if I included those other 4, this would be up over 40 minutes long. Which at that point, when you see 40 minutes, you're probably just going to think, I'm not watching all of that. So if you do want to see them, I've got enough to make a part 2 even. Usually I wouldn't bother mentioning that, but this tank has been requested an awful lot. And it's been on my list of ones to do for a good long while now. And you know what? I'm genuinely glad I got this back and started playing it again. I've had some fantastic fun in this, especially when you see Leos in front of you. And plenty of Leos at that. My HE loves the back of them. The damage you can do in one shot is just staggering. Now they are focus firing my friendly Leo. He is on very, very low health, so they're trying to take a gun out, obviously. And I don't reload in time to save him, but it does mean that we can finish him off with another HE to the butt shot of that Leo. Now my intention by here is to push up, and I can sit on the top of the ridge and help the team, but then we notice a waffle behind us, and I am not giving the butt of my tank to a... And the enemy Death Star's just taken out the tortoise on my team, which means we are down to 3 and they are on 4. Now my intention is to pop up by here and try put a HE into the waffle. However, I do notice the Death Star is sitting up on the ridge. And it looks like the team has that waffle covered. So sticking out means I would have just given a huge whack of damage to that Death Star. So I'm going to sit on this ridge, hide my lower plate, use the 6 degrees of gun depression I have, and try and make every single shot count. Because there's 4 left on the enemy team, and it looks like they are now pushing in my direction. So we're going to get 1 into the Death Star, and whenever I'm aiming for them, I always try and go for the tracks, just to try and hope it avoids their return fire into me. And you can see what's happening here already. The T-95 slowly pushing his way down on the left, well, on his left, our right, and you can see that IS-8 is working his way down my side to try and flank me. Now there's 2 things I need to be careful of here. T-95 shooting me from the side. This guy I need to pay attention to so I can hide myself where I am, and we need to be very careful of where that Death Star appears again. So I'm going to use the ridge on my side, and we're sadly going to bounce a shot. We're going to angle, and our tracks do take it. And you'll notice I was waiting to reuse my repair kit there. But as soon as that Death Star came around the edge, that's when I used my repair kit straight away. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bothered using the repair kit. Now again, I need to be careful here. I can't push too far back past this ridge on my right hand side protecting me, because I know there is a T-95 on full health out there. And these guys are pushing me from the front. But the Death Star, his turret is going to pop around the corner before his gun does. So if I line up ready, I'll be able to get his turret before he even gets his gun around the corner. But the IS-8 has seen that as his opportunity to get around and deal with me and try and circle me. But he stops to try and aim his shot, which is the worst thing he could have done, because it means myself and that Jagdtiger down there are in a position to be able to finish him off. Now there is a good chance he may have been able to circle me there, but to circle me he would have had to go up the hill anyway, which means he would have slowed down, so it was a touch and go situation there. But now we're going to try and use the gun depression to stick over here and spot the T-95, and we're going to aim for his hatches, and with the penetration on this thing it's going to go through no problem at all. And this is a ridiculously strong position for this tank. With its 6 degrees of gun depression, I can fully hide my lower plate from that T-95. We've put one into him, and we just need one HE into the top of him now. And that's going to deal with him. All in all, I didn't actually travel that far in this game. That's not due to lack of trying, it's just every time we try to move, something else comes around the corner. So I'm not complaining. It means we got a nice 7,020 damage, 41,000 in credits, and 359 spare parts. So, all in all, the Jaegeru. I hated it at first. I don't think it's a tank for a new player. If it's your very first line, I think you'll struggle with the Jaegeru. If it's, say, your third or fourth and you're more experienced at that point and you know how to angle, etc., I think you'll absolutely adore this tank. Like I said, I've gone from really not enjoying this tank in the slightest to really, really enjoying playing it. But thank you all for watching. I hope you have enjoyed the video, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.